is everything you're going to need to know about Fortnite's newest update for Chapter 6, Season 3, starting with some of the new map locations that we have on the map. We have Supernova Academy, Demon's Domain, Utopia City, and Shogun Solitude. In addition to these new POIs, you will be able to find something across the map called spires. Included within these spires will be one specific spire called the Overlord Spire, marked by this icon on the map. This is super important because when you kill these, you will then increase your superhero rank and also get some really awesome loot, including some of the disrupted weapons. So we have two new medallions this season, one of them being a Demon's Domain. You will again get the Infernal Defenses medallion, which will give you an increased reload speed and passively regenerate up to 50 shield. Once defeating Diago, you also get this enhanced Spire Rifle, which is absolutely insane. It has an increased fire rate and does an incredible amount of TTK. I definitely recommend picking this up. The second one will then be located on the floating islands, and it will be the Boss Core. She is the DMR expert, and her medallion will then let you go invisible whenever you're jumping. Upon defeating her, you will then get her enhanced DMR, which is also incredibly powerful in her medallion, which will let you jump further, faster, higher, and become invisible when you jump. This is an incredible medallion, and this is a use case of using it where you can just run up on people and they'll have no idea where you are because they cannot see you due to the fact of you being invisible. This paired with the Demon's Domain medallion goes absolutely insane. It's definitely worth fighting for the medallions this season. Moving on to disrupted weapons, we have something called the Yoink Shotgun. This shotgun is absolutely insane because when you fire the first shot, it'll then pull the enemy towards you into your shotgun barrel, allowing for an incredibly easy kill. The second one we have is the Unstable Voltage Burst Pistol, which the first and last shots out of this pistol will create somewhat of an impulse grenade effect. I didn't see this being super useful entirely. Of course, this is the DMR. It's a standard DMR, but this DMR is definitely worth picking up in your kit this season because of the insane DPS that it does. Another weapon that got added this season is Killshot Revolvers, and these are an absolute favorite. You can dash in any direction, including forwards and backwards, and if you ADS while you're mid-dash, you can actually slow down time, which leads to incredible first shot accuracy. You can also use these revolvers in order to evade fall damage and also evade incoming fire from enemies while doing some crazy movement mechanics up close range. You pair these revolvers with some of the other movement that we have this season and you are definitely going to be deadly. So we do have characters that you can hire. Two of my favorites are, one is at Foxy Floodgate, which is Kill Switch, and then the other one's right outside of Rainbow Fields, which is Robin. You can hire both of these and they're your standard sonar scan characters, which paired with all the other equipment in the game basically gives you wall hacks. Now jumping into some of the equipment, Robin will also be in possession of this Wingshot Grappler. Something to note is that if someone buys this, you cannot get it again because he only has one. But this thing is incredibly overpowered. It's a grappler that also, once you grapple, it lets you redeploy. This is insanely useful when chained with the other movement mechanics. Next up, we have the Tracking Visor, and this is one of my personal favorites. It does a couple of things. When you just have it on you in your kit, it allows you to see footsteps, helping you track players on the map. Whenever you actually use it, it completely highlights the enemies in the surrounding area and lets you see them through walls. This is incredibly broken, and I highly recommend using it. Another piece of equipment we have this season is the Base Boost Gloves. Now these things are probably the #1 movement mechanic for this season. When you shoot them down at the ground, you can jump up in the air, and as you can see, when paired with the Dash Bright, you can have some insane movement. The other thing that these gloves do is they're incredibly useful at destroying buildings and objects, so taking out builds is going to be no problem at all. And the last piece of equipment we're going to talk about is the Mist Gauntlets. These things do a pretty good amount of continuous damage, and they're definitely worth a pickup this season. So as you're traveling through the map this season, you will find crates with corresponding letters above them. These represent your superhero rank, and once you have achieved the specific rank, you will then be allowed to open them. They include rarer weapons and boons, which are basically like these really insane perks. I highly recommend prioritizing these and getting them, and you will go all the way from C rank all the way to S plus rank. These crates will actually only take effect up until S, and then S plus you will actually get additional perks immediately upon getting it. These are insane and definitely need to be prioritized because look at the insane loot that you can get out of these, including the really crazy boons that we're going to talk about. Now, inside of Supernova Academy, you will find these same doors with corresponding letters. Once you guys have reached the rank, you will then be able to open the doors, and they have crazy loot inside, including wall buys that you can purchase with the gold that you have in the game in order to get some really crazy loot really early on in the game. Now I'm going to make an entirely separate video on boons because there's just so many of them and they're so crazy, but some of the most useful boons this season off rip are going to be the boon that allows you to sprint while healing. You can completely full sprint while taking a chug jug now, which is absolutely crazy. I love this one a lot. And the second boon is really cool, is whenever a player shoots at you, it'll also highlight them just like it would with the tracking visor. So if you have an hired NPC plus the tracking visor plus this boon, you guys can see how you can come up with some really crazy awareness inside of Fortnite. Now we didn't get our standard sprites back, which is really sad because the shield sprite was super awesome, but we have two new cool sprites. One of them being the dash sprite that you saw earlier, which gives you 3 dashes. This is very comparable to the Grimgate medallion from previous seasons. And then the other one is going to be the Superman sprite, which if you hold your aim on a target with the Superman laser, you can do a decent amount of continuous damage. I, however, did not find this sprite to be absolutely insane or really worth holding in my kit at all. I don't know how useful this will be in builds, maybe taking out builds, because it does an incredible amount of damage to trees. So this is something important to know, that if you return a dash sprite to the shrine, this is one of the few ways you can get guaranteed shockwaves this season. The only other way I was able to find shockwaves on the map was out of a rare chest, and that was incredibly difficult. However, you can complete this over and over even within the same match, and it'll drop you 4 shockwave grenades every single time. Now jumping into some of the unvaulted weapons, we have the Fury Assault Rifle, Sentinel Pump Shotgun, we have the Veiled Precision SMG, and then of course we have the Surge Fire SMG back in the game. And even though as dominant as the Spire is, I still feel like the Fury is on top when it comes to the AR categories. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to give a like and consider subscribing for more awesome Fortnite videos. If you guys are purchasing anything in the item shop, be sure to use the code aggroplays. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.